So have you ever wondered how we can actually harness the sheer power of artificial intelligence for clinical reasoning practice without, and this is a big without, sacrificing data privacy or just blindly trusting some mysterious, unexplainable black box? I mean, it's easily one of the most pressing questions in medical education today, right? We all want that highly interactive, Socratic experience of AI, but we absolutely cannot compromise on security or transparency, period. So welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack a truly fascinating solution to this exact dilemma.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the answer actually lies in a centralized, highly secure digital workspace known as the ViBrowns Tool Hub. This platform radically rethinks how medical learners, and educators for that matter, interact with large language models. Rather than taking your sensitive case data and shipping it away to some proprietary third-party server where you essentially lose total control of it, the Tool Hub just flips the whole model completely upside down. It gives you a robust suite of clinical reasoning tools built on a rock-solid foundation of absolute privacy and total transparency.
To really grasp how this works, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with a welcome to the hub. Then we'll cover the strict privacy and guidelines. Third, we'll look at the clinical reasoning toolkit. And finally, wrap up with the ViBrowns paradigm.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Welcome to the Hub. Imagine, if you will, stepping into this incredibly well-organized, brightly lit workshop where literally every instrument you could possibly need for clinical reasoning practice is laid out perfectly right there on the bench in front of you. That's exactly the vibe the Tool Hub is going for. It is your centralized home base.
To be precise, there are exactly 11 distinct tools currently housed in this one place. So whether you're looking to practice simulated cases, generate evidence-based medicine queries, or maybe analyze shared decision-making scenarios, all 11 of these tools are accessible right from the sidebar of this single hub. It is practically a one-stop interface. But, before we start grabbing these tools off the bench and firing them up, we definitely need to talk about the rules of the workshop. And that naturally brings us to Section 2, Strict Privacy and Guidelines. Because look, when you're mixing clinical scenarios with artificial intelligence, you have to address the elephant in the room. Dealing with data privacy and AI hallucinations is absolutely non-negotiable.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how these guidelines elegantly dismantle the usual barriers we face when trying to use AI in medicine. Just look at these strict mandates. First off, and this is a big one, the tools are strictly for educational use and reasoning practice. That means never, ever for real patient care or clinical decision-making. Second, you must only use openly published, completely de-identified cases. No real patient identifiers whatsoever. That sidesteps the privacy issue completely. Third, always verify the AI's output because, well, bias and hallucinations happen. And finally, there's literally no login or closed door preventing you from getting in and using these tools.
But honestly, the real magic of their privacy model is this serverless architecture. This is exactly how they guarantee your data is locked down. When you use a tool in the hub, the data flow is incredibly simple. Your case text and your prompts go straight from your own web browser using your own personal API key directly over to the AI provider. Boom. That's it. There's no middleman. There is absolutely no ViBrowns backend server intercepting, reading, or hoarding your data. Everything stays strictly between you and your chosen large language model. Now, you might be thinking, well, if there's no backend server, how on earth do I save my work? The Hub brilliantly leverages something you probably already use every day, your own Google Drive. The one and only reason you would ever sign into the platform is if you specifically want to save and revisit your records. And when you click Save, it drops it straight into your Google Drive. The platform itself doesn't keep a copy of your work anywhere. You retain 100% ownership and control of your own educational data. Okay, now that we know our data is totally secure and we've got the safety rules down, let's jump into Section 3. The Clinical Reasoning Toolkit. Let's look at these 11 clinical tools.
To keep things from getting overwhelming, it helps to group these 11 tools by their main job. First, we have the interactive practice tools. This includes the Case Simulator, which is an incredibly engaging way to run through simulated patient cases step by step. It also includes the Case Bench, which is basically custom-built for case-based Socratic learning, multiple-choice questions, and actually getting analytics on your clinical reasoning skills. Then we have the analysis and discussion tools. Think things like Case Lens, which lets you look at a single case from multiple analytical angles, or Clinical Polemos for doing debate-style exercises. And finally, we have the builders and generators, which help you do things like structure critical appraisal queries, or even build your own custom modules.
So the crucial point is how these distinct tools interact with one another, or rather, how they intentionally don't.
The tools absolutely do not share state directly with each other behind the scenes, and this is a very deliberate design choice to maintain that strict privacy and serverless nature we talked about. If you finish running a simulated patient in Case Simulator and decide you want to analyze that exact same case in Case Lens, you manually pass the state. You just download your results as a simple text file, open up the next tool, and upload or paste it right in. It's clean, it's remarkably secure, and it creates a workflow that is entirely controlled by you.
Oh, and just as a quick aside, if you find yourself right in the middle of a workflow, say you've just finished a really vigorous Socratic session on the case bench and you need to step away to grab a coffee, you can absolutely use that optional Google sign-in. That simply drops your current run straight into your secure history, saves safely on your end, so it's ready for you to pick up exactly where you left off.
Which brings us to our final stop today. Section 4, the Vibrounds paradigm. We've seen the tools, we've seen the architecture, but to truly understand this hub, we have to look at the architect's blueprints. We really need to unpack the profound philosophy driving why this platform was built this way from day one.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core difference between the Tool Hub and pretty much every other medical AI platform out there. Usually you've got this standard black box AI. You put your data in, you magically get an answer out, but the prompts are totally hidden, the logic is entirely unknown, and your data is sitting on some proprietary server. But here we have Vibrounds transparency. Every single tool in this hub is built on openly published prompts and modules. Literally nothing is a black box. The platform is deeply committed to empowering you, the clinician, by making the why entirely visible.
In fact, if you ever find yourself using a tool and wondering, hey, exactly why is it asking me this specific question? Or why is it guiding the Socratic dialogue in this direction? The Hub provides 3 progressive links to let you investigate it for yourself. You can click to read the overarching Vibrounds paradigm. You can dig deeper into the project website to see the full module directory and how all the tools fit together. Or if you want the deepest, most technical look possible, you can click straight through to the GitHub source code to see the actual underlying mechanics.
Let's move to that underlying philosophy and see how this builds into the ultimate foundational theme of the platform. Created by Dr. Avinash, the Vibrounds paradigm basically insists that clinical reasoning tools must be simple, minimalist, and terminal. Now, simple and minimalist just mean the interface shouldn't get in the way of the actual learning. But terminal? That reflects exactly what we've been talking about. The tool runs locally in your browser and stops right there. It doesn't phone home, it doesn't secretly train on your data, it is a terminal endpoint designed exclusively for your benefit and your privacy.
So, leaving you with this final thought. We've just toured a digital workshop that offers incredibly powerful AI reasoning tools, totally dismantles the whole black box problem, and securely anchors your data control directly back in your own hands. So how will having access to transparent, serverless tools like the Casebench or Case Simulator change your own clinical learning journey? Because this is a whole new paradigm for medical education, and it's sitting right there ready for you to explore.